I spent money on 5 6'8" demigod point guards so you wouldn't have to, and here's everything I learned. So first of all, this is my first one, physical mid-paint combo guard, 6'8" both height and wingspan, 205 on the weight. This one was my layup master. This is when I learned that scoop layups were really strong, and that floaters were also really good, but Euros were kind of like not that great, and hop steps and spins were only so-so. So it felt like even with custom layups, even having it my way, I wasn't necessarily gonna have the most crazy layup game this year. Looks like they were gonna limit me with all the Euro stuff because chase down blocks are insane this year. I had a 96 mid-range shot for Hall of Fame Shifty, and I felt the difference with that, so I wanted to keep something in that area. I had an 83 3 ball, and the thing I learned was even though Bronze Limitless is great and you can still hit a lot of threes, even contested with that, having an 89 to get silver and then kind of going from there with what they give 6'8" this year in terms of stats, it just made more sense. So keeping everything going down the line, the things I was going to keep, I was going to keep 86 ball handle because I like silver ankle assassin. I was going to keep my pass accuracy 89 because no pass style is working okay for now until I get that Tyrese Halliburton after my specialization. And the 82 perimeter is enough for the position that I play in the Pro-Am, which is point guard. That being said, the things I was gonna mess around with, the speed, the agility, the strength. I hear everyone talking, oh my gosh, maybe agility doesn't matter, maybe speed doesn't matter, maybe strength doesn't matter, maybe everything doesn't matter. Nothing matters when you run tests. But from there, I wanted to test it for myself so I could tell you guys definitively what works and what doesn't work, right? So, okay. As we go to the next build here, it's gonna be a physical offensive engine. The first thing I wanted to do is say, okay, let's go ahead and get that 89 3 ball. Let's not lose out on the midi. We'll sacrifice our layup a little bit, being that like all the Euros and hop steps and all that stuff isn't great anyways. My min-maxing for the layup is I just wanted the Tyler Hero layup package, which you get at 85. And I still got a lot of scoops in there. The Tyler Hero scoop layups at 85, I was still hitting those fairly consistently. I didn't lose out on the dribbling at all. And speed with ball just a little bit, 78 instead of 79. Wasn't a big difference to me. The strength was a 93. It doesn't show on the screen because it's a picture, but 93. And the speed, I didn't feel necessarily like I was really slow on the offense or defensive end with this build. I did feel really strong on offense with this build. I felt like I couldn't be moved. I felt like when Locks went to bump me, I owned my space. So it was really not a whole lot they could do. I could just sort of get to my shot and pull, which I really liked with this build. So I was a fan of this build, but I still thought to myself, no, this build isn't perfect yet. I want to see how I can push this further. So there we go to the next one, Speedy offensive engine. Well, the only way to properly test the strength debate and if it's important and if speed and agility matters and how everything works, is just go in and make the build and put the time in, right? So, okay, this is a no strength build, 88 speed, 88 agility. And I did notice I was in the lanes more with a 73 steal. Even though the steal rating didn't change, the speed and agility did. I was in the lanes more, I got more lane steals. I did lose out on bump steals with my physical offensive engine with 93 strength. I got bump steals that felt like all the time. And I didn't get those with any other build, and I still to this day don't get them with any other build. I only get them with the 93 strength build, so that leads me to believe that strength has to play some type of factor in your ability to get bump steals. That's my thinking because the steals stayed the same across pretty much all the other builds. All right, so that being said, I went with a dunk build on this one because when maxing out the speed, you get 80 speed with ball, which the big one is you get blur. Blur is probably the most overpowered takeover this year. Probably Blur and Bomber are like neck and neck, but I think Blur's got it. I think actually Blur clears Bomber by a decent amount, a noticeable amount, just because it's gonna get patched eventually. I think it has so many extra factors in it that I don't think weren't necessarily intended for that badge. That being said, 89 3 ball, definitely I felt the difference. Huge upgrade, I'm not going back from that. The 96 midi, I thought to myself, maybe if I'm just doing it for the shifty shooter, maybe I can use my +1s on that later. In the driving dunk, it felt like, well, I'm at 91. I feel like that's an awkward area. I'm not waiting for these cap breakers. I either need to go 89 or 93. So on the next one, of course, I went 89. So now I'm at 89 driving dunk, which is, you get a lot of the animations, the contact off one, off two, 89 with a 78 vertical. So okay. I'm getting all this stuff, silver posterizer. I can shoot with the 95 midi, and I felt with the 95 midi, I am still hitting tough shots. And what I did is I plus 2'd shifty shooter up to legend. And then I felt like I'm really nailing all my shots, right? Kept pretty much everything else the same. Now I'm with 85 steel. With 85 steel, I did notice an uptick in steals. But what I noticed is I tried out legend interceptor. Did not get a huge difference with an 85 steel rating with gold to legend, so it wasn't worth it to me to run legend interceptor. Gold interceptor with an 85, no plus oneing of any kind, just leave it how it is perfect. And I also thought to myself, 88 speed and agility, I don't necessarily need both of those that high for my position, but I do feel that silver posterizer isn't quite as strong as I want it to be for what I want to do. So of course I made my final build. This is 5.0 and this is what I'm currently rocking with. And playmaking 3-level ball hawk is a great name. I think, and I know I said this before, but I really think I'm sticking with this build for a long time. And let me tell you what. 93 driving dunk, that is gold posterizer. Then we go to 95 mid-range shot, and again we're plus 2ing shifty shooter, so that's gonna be on Hall of Fame. And Deadeye is on Hall of Fame. I'm sorry, the shifty shooter's on legend, Deadeye is on Hall of Fame. Okay, we still get set shot on Hall of Fame. I plus 1'd limitless, and of course that is the 89 3-ball. If you do one more 3-ball, you do get deep range bomber, and I don't have bomber take on this build, but I don't run bomber take, I run blur on everything. 89 pass sec, this is all the same pretty much. 80 speed with ball for that blur, of course. Again, 82 feels like enough. I'm gonna put a whole tutorial out on defense again, but what I'm learning the more and more I play, and I'm not saying I'm the greatest on-ball defender right now, and I'm not trying to convince you guys this build is locked down in any way, shape, or form. If you're debating between 82 and 92, go 92, please. 92 is fantastic on defense. I'm gonna show you guys in a second my plus ones on this build. And that's gonna make a huge difference, because down the road, for whatever reason, it's plus 2 all the way up until the very last one. So 84, 86, 88, 90, 91. So I'm gonna be just short of gold challenger, but along the way I will get a lot of the other badges gold that are gonna make this build be able to stay in front of the defense and play hands up defense and all of that stuff. And that's really huge, honestly, for this build to be able to do that. It's gonna turn this build into a real two-way monster, to be honest. And I can come back later and do plus 2 on agility if I want to, which I might do. It's just like, why not if it's plus 2? But I don't need it. It's not something that I need in the build to be great. I can leave it right there, you know how it is. And just again to talk about the other stats: 85 steel, gold, interceptor. The 84 and 83, I don't feel slow. I do not feel slow with an 84, 83. Of course, agility is important, speed is important, and I do miss the strength. I miss it. It's not that I don't miss it, it's not the strength isn't important. The reason I'm settling for the speed build is simply because blur, if you run blur, and you take the types of shots that I take, the step back, Bobby Jack, hit him with it in the corner shots, the fades, the spin jumpers over the midi, the post shots, everything. A high mid-range to do all that stuff for the badges, and a high three-pointer only makes sense. And then you're still dunking on people. You're still putting people in the ground. You're putting centers. You're competing with centers that are built to stop rim runs when in takeover. So I feel like this build offensively does every single thing you could want it to do. It scores from every single position. There's not a single thing scoring I'm missing out on. And then on top of that, I can still pass the ball. And then on top of that, I'm still playing defense in the lanes. I'm still getting hands up contests on everyone. It's not a 7-4 and not like just a outstanding point guard. If it's anything other than those two things, I'm getting great hands up contests on everything. And yeah, this build just feels complete. Build feels complete in every single way. You just can look at all the badges real quick. And then aside from that, the other thing, build specialization, just again, quick update. I'm at 514 on goal number 6. I will get that cap break soon. My plan is when I get these 2 cap breaks, right? And you guys are probably gonna wanna do this in the opposite order, but I don't play in the way that other people play, right? So my +1's gonna go on handles for days. Most of y'all will wanna put that somewhere else. You'll wanna put your +2 on that. I'm putting my +1 on it. Handles for days, it's gonna go to gold. Then, and both these cap breaks, by the way, are gonna go on passing. Again, 91 pass accuracy, Tyrese Halliburton. Pass style is what you unlock. The +2, I'm gonna put on ankle assassin because I absolutely am getting ankle breakers like crazy. Ankle breaker tutorial coming very soon, by the way. And then with that, it's pretty much gonna finish off the build. And then of course, you know, I gotta show you guys. You know, I gotta show you guys. The stats matter, they do, whether we believe it or not. Draw fouls in 82. I get fouled a decent amount. I wouldn't say I'm OD with the fouls, but I do get fouled a decent amount. You guys want to raise the layup, the driving layup and the driving dunk, you can get this stat higher. Again, you just add up the two. If it's 6'8", the build is 6'8". You add up driving layup and driving dunk. Then after you add those two together, you divide by 2. That is your draw foul. Congratulations. And of course, offensive consistency 99. You guys do whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. I believe in it, and my build will have it. So if you make my build, you also will have it. That being said, that's pretty much everything I got for you guys in this jam-packed video. Woo Crew level 27 now. Let me know if you guys have any questions about anything about these 6'8s. I have been absolutely in the lab. Oh wait, I'm sorry. One more thing, animations. The only things that are changing, I think, combo moves pro. I put that in another video. Still using Kobe White behind the back, hesitation pro, Devin Booker step back. I sold out. I finally sold out. My dribble pull up is pro 2. With this build being like it dunks, and just the way in which the angles I take to go get my dunks, it makes sense to run a pro 2 dribble pull up over the normal 2, just because the normal 2 I use to get kind of space for my defender. The pro 2, you kind of run straight forward and take front phase, and the front phase absolutely separates you on the break when they're sagging off to go stop you from a dunk, and you have a defender right behind you, so you can't stop and pull for the standstill. Pro 2 dribble pull up, fantastic. I think everything else is pretty much the same. No real good layups. Kobe hop shot, if you don't know about it, know about it. And I'm still going with Carmelo Anthony motion style. Fantastic motion style, not just because I have my player looking like him. Yeah, that being said, that's pretty much everything. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm out of here.